There's a very large person in front of.
I'm sorry. Go.
Oh, it's that Family Guy bit where it's the person hired to play this instrument behind a very, very heavily obese man walking.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What's your fat ass doing here? He's my only means of conveyance. If I'm supposed to do spoil him. Live from the Liar's Lair, it's the Disinformed podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm John.
And I'm Michael.
And we are here to take part in that greatest of all pastimes, particularly in the political field. We're here to lie to the general public. The idea here is that we are going to start in on an esoteric or obscure, for those who don't want to go to thesaurus.com, an esoteric topic, and we're going to try to inform one another about it. But in the midst of talking about this topic, we're going to whip a couple lies in there. We're going to just whisk in something that's a little delicately subverting of the facts, if you will. And then the goal for the other co-hosts is to pick out those facts, ferret them, point at them, and scream posse. And
posse!
Interloper.
Interloper. All hail. So, that is what we are here to do, and you are here to listen, so shut the fuck up and sit back. We hope you enjoy. Miguel? What are we talking about
we did
today?
introduce ourselves. I'm just having a stroke.
Yes, we sure did.
Okay.
We talked. I changed it up, the delivery slightly.
And I'm Michael.
Are you?
Am I?
You are. What are we talking about?
Am I falling out of this chair?
Well, today we're talking about, and I'm using what I think is the correct pronunciation.
Okay.
Homeopathy. It's probably not pronounced that way, but that's how I.
We'll go
like
either
to think
way.
it. Yeah.
Hey, we'll quibble about this all day long.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's just a word, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
isn't
yeah.
that what they used to write in Harry Potter? A quibble?
A quibble?
Or that's
Yes.
one of their
The
things with
quibbler
Quidditch.
is
Quidditch,
They don't write with Quidditch.
They
What
do
you
the
talking
thing
about,
with the
Monarch?
spells, right? They throw the wands at the danger.
They cast aspersions, is what they do. So, homeopathy. We're very excited about this.
Someone has to.
Homeopathy. Homeopathy. We're just,
Homeopathy?
you and I are just going to go like, it's going to be a seesaw effect, so we'll just balance one another out. I have
Can
to
you
ask.
guess how many times it's pronounced differently?
72.
Ooh.
That's
At least.
absolutely correct.
I have a quick question.
I have a quick answer.
Is it
Yes.
your...
Sorry.
Guys, Shane has
Wait.
just gotten up and he has disconnected his microphone and he is walking out.
He has shot everyone the bird.
Those hand gestures he's doing.
Please tell me that is your Axe deodorant in that bathroom.
There's Axe deodorant in the
There's
bathroom.
an Axe deodorant in the bathroom.
Come take
Oh,
your
yes,
medicine.
yes. I had to remember. Yes. Yes. Why?
You don't even remember the brand of deodorant you use.
No,
That's
because
how-
it smells good. That's what I
Listen, when someone is that dedicated to smashing puss, they don't
Posse.
care.
Here's the question. Now, John, knowing Michael, what scent do you think his Axe deodorant is?
Mine.
And what is yours?
No, he just wears my scent.
How did you know?
So it's salty and sweet.
Honestly, it's been a while since I've used Axe. I don't know the
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, I don't expect it.
flavors.
Dear God. Would you like to know what it is?
Is it Phoenix?
No.
Because that's the only one I remember.
I don't like that smell. It smells weird to me.
I'll tell you what his is, and now we'll learn something about his proclivities. Michael's is
Dark chocolate?
Dark Temptation.
I used to use that one, game respect game.
Dark like, we
Did you
are all
smell it? Did you sniff
Satanists
it?
here, apparently.
you
No, I didn't sniff it. It's touches underarm. I'm not going to rub that underneath my nose.
You
You
hugged
don't?
them.
Listen, I eat asshole. I don't sniff underarms. This is different.
Well, I guess if you have a line, you don't want to cross
It's
it.
a hard line.
Well,
Uh,
does the asshole that you eat subscribe to Bootbox?
It does. I got the cleanest assholes around. Those shit ticket wipes are no fooling. I'm telling you.
well, we
I've been
can't talk
using them for
about
a
that
month.
today because that isn't our sponsor.
Hey, it's a free plug.
Oh,
I don't.
okay,
I mean,
all right,
I'm just
fine.
gonna. I keep going back
Listen,
to
we
it.
can't talk about plugs and Bootbox in the same sentence. It just
We
feels
sure can. They're actually
disingenuous.
just putting them in the next month's box.
I didn't want to give it up.
You're not going to. It's so big, you're not going to get it out. Oh, but
So
you
we're
might,
talking about home.
if you want to use some homeopathic remedies.
Homo sapien.
Sounds
like
Homo sapiens.
Homothapies.
Homo strap on. It's a homo strap on. I've seen it.
Says here that you like debit.
That's the butt. I also like tennis.
And just like that, we've alienated it down to one listener.
I think that's like a goal that we have. We have to at least piss off several groups.
Well,
I mean, like Roll Tide from yesterday, or from yesterday,
yesterday.
from last recording. You know.
Roll Tide.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we will always have Linda, John's mom, will listen to us through anything. So
She'll listen to you at night.
she can't. The screams are so loud she can't hear anything.
It's just really nice, again, to know that if I ever wanted you to go away, all I'd have to do is call you Dad.
Uh-huh. Funny thing is it's mostly she can't hear anything because my thighs are pressed against her ears so hard.
I've seen it.
So, Michael, tell us about the Homo sapiens.
So, homeopathy.
Homeopathy,
I'm going to
homeopathy.
try and pronounce
Just
it
do it how you
differently
want to do
every
it.
single
I'm not.
time.
We're going to have to goop this again and just give you, like, initials.
Homeopathy.
I'm not here to fuck up your game. I'm just telling you, dark temptation all over this thing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I just love the smell. It,
I knew
it's
I was
just
drawn
very
to you for a
refreshing.
reason.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
all love dark temptation.
All hail dark temptation.
Oh.
I couldn't. I give up.
There was
you
a
won.
wrestler
You
back
win.
in the mid '80s, late '70s, early '80s, called Dark Journey.
Does he like play Journey songs
Well, it
backwards?
I was going to
a
say,
girl.
is it like sing
It was
them in
a
all
woman.
minor keys?
Yeah. Ooh.
It was a lovely ebony woman.
Instead of don't stop believing, it's totally stop believing.
Please
It's
stop
actually
believing.
it's don't stop bequeefing.
Okay.
Scream up at the ceiling.
We're here now.
Bequeefing.
Bequeefing.
Homeopathy is a system of alternative medicine created in 1796 by a man that I'm going to mispronounce called Samuel Hahnemann,
Hahnemann?
spelled Hahnemann.
Okay.
Yes. Hahnemann?
Hahnemann. We'll go with it.
Hahnemann.
Hannah Montana. It's
Yes.
the best of both worlds.
He based this system of alternative medicine on his doctrine of like cures like, which you will kind of see reoccur a lot.
Say like cures like?
Yes.
Kind of like A cures A?
Yes.
Or, okay.
A claim. Also, for those following at home, I ripped this all from the Wikipedia page. A lot of summarizing because there is a lot of shit on it. It's a claim that a substance that causes the symptoms of a disease in healthy people will cure similar symptoms in sick people.
So the like cures like principle. Is he a girl from Southern California who attends ASU? Like cures like?
Oh my god.
Like.
And subscribe. So he noticed. So he originally found this out. Sorry. Anytime you hear,
There's air quotes happening all over.
I'm just constantly
Michael,
doing air
I think
quotes.
people can hear your air quotes.
Okay, yeah.
You have
the
a very
derision in my voice.
yes.
yeah, you
Yeah.
articulate your air quote very well.
He noticed that early 19th century cure for malaria, which is some bark that I can't pronounce, synchrona,
Fart?
I guess. It's essentially the old cure for malaria involved eating some bark. Okay, had symptoms similar to the symptoms caused by malaria itself. Apparently, if you ate the bark when you didn't have malaria, it caused malarian symptoms. Who knew?
Go
Okay.
figure.
So what he did, which I actually found pretty interesting, was he actually, instead of just saying, well, this is what it is, go for it, he actually began to test this. He began to test what affects substances produced in humans. I think I said that. Yeah, what affects substances produced in humans.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. A procedure that would later be known as homeopathic proving. So kind of like the scientific method, right?
Mm-hmm.
These tests required the subjects to test the effects of ingesting substances as well as the conditions as the ancillary. I think I said
Ancillary?
that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the word.
There you go.
Conditions under which they appeared. He also introduced the concept of the humors. Okay, the idea that the human body produces 4 vital bodily fluids: blood,
Semen.
No, actually, that actually is a good point. That should be a bodily fluid.
I mean, it is. It's a big part of my life.
I guess it's not vital. It's not important. It's not important to this guy.
What are you, my wife?
Apparently. So
second person to tell me that my semen is not important today.
Oof. Your yeehaw juice.
Probably not the last either.
Nope. So we got blood, we got yellow bile, we got phlegm, and then we got, and I wrote in not parentheses, quotation marks, black bile.
Wow.
It was I don't know why.
This guy's got a lot of upper respiratory infections from the sounds of it.
Yes.
Has that ever happened to you?
I can't breathe.
Anyway, it was the imbalance of those fluids which caused diseases, mostly a deficit in one or more fluids. Different combinations cause different symptoms. So if you were lacking blood, well, obviously that's, symptoms, disease can be caused from that lack of blood.
If you use too much dark temptation, your black bile just gets all backed up.
And then it explodes all over the place, and it's a bitch to clean.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, there's just 6 spray tan women waiting at your door.
If only. Speaking of which, I have to write to Axe. Their promises didn't work out.
Not fulfilled.
They were just lying there on the floor there.
Dead.
Anyway.
Homeopathy maintains that treating the diseases by directly alleviating their symptoms, so like say you have a headache, you take ibuprofen, cures the headache, right? As is sometimes done in conventional medicine, ergo what I just said, is ineffective because all diseases can generally be traced to some latent, deep-seated, underlying chronic or inherited tendency. So if you were to, say, cure that headache, it might actually be just a surface symptom of something that's else. Like you could have a brain aneurysm and it's manifesting itself as a headache, but you took ibuprofen. Well, that's not going to help. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Also, ibuprofen's like a muscle relaxant, so I mean, that's not going to do anything for a headache.
What?
Wait, no, ibuprofen is an NSAID. It'll
You're an NSAID.
You're not. No. I don't think you're supposed to say that word.
No, they got booted off Reddit permanently.
Copy.
Oof. You're thinking, damn it. So the underlying disease still remains, and deep-seated ailments can be corrected only by removing the deeper disturbance of the vital force.
So this is like a girl that was abused by her father and goes out and sleeps with everybody else on the planet, hoping that somehow they're going to take care of her the way Daddy did.
Or man, or they, or them.
True. We have to be inclusive here.
Okay, well, my pronouns are rage, grizz, and prognostication.
All right. So we all heard what prognostication said.
Yes. Okay, cool. Okay, so I'm going to talk about one of the main ways that you prepare homeopathic treatments, homeopathic dilution. And this is when I first heard this is what made me think what the fuck? Okay. So because Hahnemann believed that large doses of drugs cause similar symptoms, but that would also aggravate the illness. So if the cure is eating bark and you eat 40 pounds of that bark, that's not gonna help it, right? He advocated instead for extreme dilutions of the substances. He devised a technique for making these dilutions that he believed would preserve a substance's therapeutic properties while removing its harmful effects. So say, for example, that bark gave you extreme diarrhea if you ate 40 pounds of it.
What doesn't give you extreme diarrhea nowadays?
Yeah,
you
true.
do, and you'll clean it up.
Hey! Call back?
Yes.
Reference? Future. Yes. Prognostication.
Thank you.
Yeah, there we go.
No fucking
prognostication.
Yeah, so he believed that by diluting the substance in, say, water, or some other liquid or something like that, would get all the good benefits while removing all the harmful ones.
So, just to check my understanding, because I feel like some of this is just flying over my head, which I'm
as
sure
it does.
It's gonna. Without the dilution, is this essentially the people that are like, I have a hangover, so I'm gonna have a beer? Is that basically
The hair of the
That
dog
kind of
principle?
makes sense. Yeah, that seems reasonable.
The reason that I feel this way is because I drank too much alcohol. So if I drink alcohol, the alcohol is going to negate the alcohol.
Yes, that's a good example
Like
to
a
hold
generalization.
on to. Yes, I will say let's hold on to that example just because of what I'm about to say will make it hilarious. Okay.
You better live up to.
It will. Okay.
So we're making a tea out of tree bark to deal with our, black bile rising.
But how diluted is the
song?
main question we want to ask ourselves. How diluted do we want that tea, right? Okay. So, a lot. His scale, which he called the C scale, okay? Yeah, I'm going to throw some numbers at you, so I'll read them really slow.
Ouch.
Sorry.
He looked directly into my optical stems.
Well, I actually looked into your corneas, the dark, deep.
Listen, I'm wearing underwear.
Hey.
He essentially just called you son.
Not
on
with
the
that
microphone.
attitude. So, okay, he called the scale the C scale, which represented how many times a substance was diluted by a factor of 100. So Roman numeral C, 100. Okay. So, 100 cubic centimeters of water for 1 centimeter of poison ivy. Right? So you understand that.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. That's important that you understand that C scale is...
That's a lot.
Yes. So, for the alcohol example, a gallon of alcohol poured into 100 gallons of water. Thus, a 2C dilution requires a substance to be diluted to 1 part in 100. And then, some of that solution was again diluted.
So you further dilute the dilution, and then it so on and so forth for more C's? Is that what it's coming up to?
Yes, yeah. So 2C for the alcohol analogy. 1 gallon of alcohol, 100 gallons of the water. You mix it. He goes into detail about ways of mixing it.
So then it just becomes communion wine.
Yeah.
So you've done nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing at all.
Yes. So, like I said, a 2C dilution. It works out to 1 part of the original substance in 10,000 parts of the solution.
Oh, God.
Okay? A 6C dilution repeats this process 6 times. So, C. Yeah, okay. Ending with the original substance diluted to a factor of 1 part in a trillion. Heinemann advocated for 30C for most purposes.
Jesus.
But regularly used potencies of up to 300C. Yeah.
It's about the amount of creamer I want in my coffee. I just want mainly black coffee, but if you could throw just...
A pinprick of creamer.
Just a touch.
There you go.
That wasn't a joke. That was just in case anyone wants to bring me coffee at any point in time.
So
I want
1C?
300C.
Well, I've got a nice warm glass to shut the hell up.
So you
All right,
want
Ben
a lot
Stiller,
of cream in your coffee, because by diluting it, it makes it stronger.
No, I want my coffee creamer to be diluted by coffee.
Oh, okay. So you have 300 C's of coffee in your creamer.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. I see what you're getting at
Also,
there.
if you say creamer 3 more times, my ex-girlfriend's going to show up.
Like Beetlejuice?
Or
Your girlfriend
Candypants.
Beetlejuice?
Something like that. No, but she was crazy.
No, she's Candypants. That's it.
Wait, is she Michael Keaton?
Candypants.
Hi, Dad. Not really. Oh, shit.
Hey, John, how about you come in my ass one more time?
Never. Never. I'd never do something like that to someone I respect.
I'm trying to dilute my children.
I don't know. You threw me to...
Give me 300 C's of
Yeah, I got 300 C's of shit in with the yeehaw juice, so then we're good.
Okay.
We have derailed any semblance of meaning in this entire conversation.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
it's
floated
fair.
above my body for a second, and I was watching us get off track.
Well,
So-
I'm bigger
all
than my
my
body
fault.
gives me credit for. So
That's fair. That's the gist of like this the very basic like homeopathy 101
The
is
gist
that
of the
it's
gist.
all about yeehaw juice. It's all about the dilution, right? It's all about
Right.
diluting it to 300
So
C's.
what's next? Like, what is this?
So I will talk about some good stuff. Good stuff. Air quotes, because I just love emphasizing it. So a homeopathic proving, right, that I mentioned earlier, is the method by which the profile of the homeopathic preparation is determined. So During the proving process, Hanneman administered preparations to healthy volunteers.
Every time you say it, I just hear Hannah Montana.
And the resulting symptoms were compiled by observers in a drug picture. So that's kind of like what you hear with drug trials, right? These volunteers were observed for months at a time and were made to keep extensive journals detailing all their symptoms at specific times of the day. I guess, they were freely encouraged to do whatever they wanted as long as they recorded when and how long they did it. Specifically, they were encouraged to consume coffee, tea, spices, wine. However, they were prohibited from exercising in moderation. So if you exercised, it's either all or none. So you go all in or you don't. Okay? This proving process has been claimed to have been important in the development of the clinical trial, right? Which is what I said. Due to their early use of control groups, systematic and quantitative procedures, and then some of the first application of statistics in medicine. Cool stuff, right?
So the process here, if we're getting down, is if you rolled in a bunch of poison oak, his methodology is then, I'm going to take some poison oak, I'm going to put it in a bunch of water, I'm going to wriggle it around for a bit, you do whatever you're going to do normally, and then I'm going to give you some of this water with some of the poison oak in it, and that's going to kill that poison oak.
Yes. But,
Okay.
So you do that probably 30 times.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how we're
It's like
just
a prescription.
microdosing ketamine.
Yeah. I mean, if you take 1 gram of ketamine and you blend it into 100 grams of water and then you dilute it 30 times, and that, I'm surprised that shit wouldn't kill you outright.
Yeah.
Okay,
I guess,
so
but
again,
it's all
so
good
you're
stuff.
saying this led to statistic.
Well, kind of. So people have claimed that it benefited clinical trials, but a lot of the proving process has superficial similarities with clinical trials, where you record everything, a lot of statistics, like you test a lot of people.
Procedurally, yeah.
Yes. But it is fundamentally different from how we run clinical trials now, in that the process of
That's
proving.
bullshit?
Huh?
What?
No. This is actually true. Because I wanted to add a couple of good things to it. But, so the proving process is very subjective. So instead of taking actual, blood work, tests and everything, it was just how do you feel? You just drank 300 C's of pure, straight cocaine. How do you feel okay?
I kind of feel like Stephen King in the 70s.
So you want to write 3,000-page novels. Okay, all right.
And my car is alive and trying to kill me.
Yes. It's also having sex with my dog, who also wants to kill me. Anyway, but clinical trials, the process is supposed to be double-blinded, where we don't know if we're giving you a placebo, giving you half strength, full strength. We don't know, you don't know. The only one that knows will be the researchers when they get all the results at the end. Okay. So that, and one of the main reasons why that's bad, or why subjective, you know that you're getting this, is actually called the nocebo effect, if you've heard of that. You might have heard of the placebo effect, where you take something and believe that it's working. That's why it's called a placebo when it's a sugar pill. But the nocebo effect is pretty much the opposite.
Is nocebo bullshit? Is that...
No, that is actually a thing.
This is when the drug is working?
So it's when you think that a drug is working. Okay. Essentially,
Wait.
I'll read a little bit more. Okay,
do it.
Okay,
I
essentially,
thought I had an authentic one in the wild. boys.
Authentic.
I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
it's
sorry. It is said to occur when negative expectations of the patient regarding a treatment cause the treatment to have a more negative effect than it otherwise would have.
So negativity breeding negativity?
Yes. So if I give you this pill and say, this pill is going to make you start
nauseous,
viciously fucking anything that looks like a hole, then you're like...
How's that a negative? That was my teenage years, basically, I think.
Just because it looks like a hole doesn't mean it is a hole?
I'm also going to go ahead and, no pun intended, plug the subreddit, Don't Put Your Dick in That.
I was going to ask if that's our sponsor today. Is that our sponsor today?
It is not, no.
Shane has our sponsorship.
I do.
I think this is a good time talking about the nocebo effect, yes.
Okay.
Before we get into modern explanations for homeopathy.
Okay. Well, I think the modern explanations are going to be relevant to today's sponsor, which, for all intents and purposes, is going to intrigue everybody here. It's Gaia.com.
Ooh.
So for all of you homeopathy fans, we are pleased to announce no affiliation whatsoever with Gaia.com. You know, Here's what they tell us over here at Gaia.com. You know, there's more than the mainstream story you've been experiencing. Something you're not finding in your current paradigm or in the media you're consuming. Your intuition is right. Gaia is dedicated to finding and creating informative and enlightening films, original shows, classes, and articles that aren't available through mainstream media. With over 8,000 films, shows, and classes, fuel your expansion into the topics you love exploring with content you won't find anywhere else, filmed with world-renowned luminaries here to support your awakening. You can experience Gaia in English, Spanish, German, or French. German. We offer original, dubbed, or subtitled content in these languages. Join hundreds of thousands of members in 185 countries in awakening your consciousness. Or just slap yourself upside the head with a fucking meat mallet. It's probably cheaper. So that's why we are not brought to you today by Gaia.com, but for those that want to explore a little bit of modern homeopathy, you can do so there and get a little tickle of your pickle whilst you're doing it.
I mean, that's what I do when I go on.
You are a pickle tickler. I've seen it.
Oh, yeah.
It's documented.
I am not shy about that. Pickles constantly tick. I mean, it's being tickled right now.
Well, I'm about to hit yours with a meat mallet, so just calm down.
But I like that.
What's roke?
What?
Never mind.
All right. Well,
I use the Roku. I watch stuff on it.
So a couple of modern explanations for homeopathy.
Mm.
Okay. Modern advocates of homeopathy have proposed a concept of water memory, air quotes, according to which water remembers, again air quotes, the substances mixed in it and transmits the effect of those substances when consumed. So the reason why I bring that up, because I honestly thought you were going to call bullshit earlier, for the 300C. It is true, but let me give you a little bit better picture, okay? The greatest dilution reasonably likely to contain even one molecule of the original substance is 12C. There was a quote that I had. Let me see if I can find it somewhere.
So essentially it's saying the water remembers?
The water remembers.
Yes, because back when he was coming up with this, the idea of atoms wasn't really a thing. So they were like, well, we can just keep enhancing, enhance.
They only believed in Eves.
Whenever they got a security footage, they
I hate you.
They thought, okay. Anyway, so anything greater than 12Cs literally would not have any molecule of it in there.
It's just water.
Yes.
Go figure.
Yeah, but it somehow remembers it. So that's one way of modern homeopathic practitioners would try and rationalize that it still worked. This concept is... Okay, I already
Tell me about
that.
the waters of your homeland, Muad'Dib.
Water memory has never been demonstrated to have any detectable effect, biological or otherwise, obviously. I will point out a great campaign called the 1023 campaign, which was organized to oppose the sale of homeopathic products in the UK. 30 skeptics performed a mass suicide stunt with an overdose of homeopathically diluted snake poison, belladonna, and arsenic in an attempt to publicly show that homeopathy does no work. I was originally going to put in a lie that said they all died, but I assume that you guys would have just called it out, so I'm just going to give it to you. No one died or even reported any ill effects from this.
Imagine how ironic that would have been, though.
It would have been quite funny if they didn't dilute it enough.
We'll show you! Oh, fuck.
That nightshade's kicking in, guys. I'm sorry, the water remembers.
Yeah. So this is probably the first of many, many times we'll revisit this idea, but a lot of abstract concepts with theoretical physics have been invoked to suggest explanations of how or why preparations might work, involving quantum entanglement, the theory of relativity, and chaos theory to explain why homeopathy works.
Quantum Entanglement is one of my favorite shows the USA Network ever produced. I'm just going to tell you that right now. I love it. Scott Bakula.
Wait, Can I call bullshit to your...
with macula.
Is that a real show?
No, it's Quantum Leap.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, yeah, okay.
Sorry, I wanted to be funny for 5 seconds. Fuck me.
Doesn't know what that is either.
Okay, yeah, so that was essentially it. Once I looked up explanations using physics, I kind of just, like, shut down at that point.
Yeah.
For listeners at home, just in case they weren't aware, I study physics, so anytime I see someone say, like, what about quantum physics? Or time travel let's using quantum physics. I kind of just like, you could have just said it happens. Like, especially and I've talked to John about this for
in the
fiction.
book that we were reading, or I loaned you the book as well. It jumps into quantum time travel-y, babbly stuff.
Oh, yes. So Endgame.
I still have not seen that.
Wait.
Primarily yes.
Another movie that you haven't seen?
I've seen Infinity War.
I'm having a small stroke. Sorry, excuse me.
Well, I mean, I kind of know a lot of the spoilers. I'm not going to go over the spoilers because whatever.
So you're saying Back to the Future is bullshit?
No,
you're trying to say?
I actually like how they use technobabble in a useful way, and I actually might do a thing on technobabble or like talk about Star Trek and inertial dampeners, because that would be actually a really cool thing. It wouldn't deal with this homeopathic stuff. Well, it'd be
your
like,
dark temptation is showing.
Excuse me, bless you. But no, I when someone says like time travel happens because it does, or like they might say because of you have to be going 88 miles an hour and the quantum flux capacitor, like when that goes into the realm of ridiculousness that I'm totally okay with. Mm-hmm. But when they start saying like, well, it deals with the quantum entanglement, like no, like either say it happens because of plain speak it, or satirize it.
Hey, listen, my quantum hasn't touched anything in a good long while.
And if it has, you had it sign the consent form.
And but no, it was in it's a quantum of solace. That's what mine is. It's not getting entangled
just in
with
case
anything.
Michael's not really picking that up. That's a 007 movie. Starring Daniel Craig. It's a pretty powerful vehicle.
I have seen it. I was very drunk when I saw it, but I have seen it. I've seen a lot of Bond movies. My roommate is a big Bond fan. He used to have a thing on his birthday.
Yes, bondage.
We're getting off track.
Anyway, okay. So there are 2 lies in here. One of which is like if you kind of understand a little bit of medical history, you would catch. And another one, I kind of just like, it doesn't really make a lot of sense.
So you're saying if we put enough leeches in water, we would still feel leeches? Nope. Just move on. Let it go.
This is getting very...
I guess if you blend it so that it's uniformly distributed...
It's like becoming the conversation like after Inception came out and everyone was like, I understand Inception! And you're like, yeah, so do I! And then you describe it to each other like...
That doesn't make any sense at all!
I just like that their V for Vendetta clarion call is, the water remembers.
Yeah.
England endures, and the water remembers.
Every time you go to the fridge or to the sink now to fill up your water bottle or anything.
The water remembers.
That's why you're not allowed to piss in the ocean.
And that's why cucumber water is so goddamn delicious.
I agree full-heartedly.
Proof. There we go.
Horchata is the proof that homeopathy works.
So are we saying that we missed all the lies?
Yes.
Of course we did, yeah.
Okay. So this one is kind of more like, I kind of tried sneaking this one past you guys to make sure you didn't get it, but if you understand the idea of Galen or ancient Greek medicine, he was the one.
We don't judge here. It's 2019.
You can be whatever you want.
You can be Galen.
We
That's
fine.
So it was ancient Greek philosophers, I guess, that came up with the idea of the humors.
Okay.
Hanneman.
Well done.
Hannah Montana introduced the concept of miasms as the infectious principles that underline chronic illness. Which
that was clever.
Yes.
Well done. Okay.
He associated each miasm, whatever, with specific diseases and thought that initial exposure to miasms caused local symptoms such as skin or venereal disease.
Is this miasma?
Miasma, yes.
Miasma?
Is that okay? All right.
Yes.
I wanted to make sure that I was catching
that I was pronouncing it at least slightly correctly, close enough.
Okay.
Yes. So essentially, and this kind of ties in with what I said after I lied. exposure to these miasmas cause, like, local... Exposure to these infectious principles...
Well done.
Cause local symptoms like venereal disease or skin, rashes or something. But if those symptoms were suppressed by medication, the cause would go deeper and begin to manifest itself as diseases of the organs.
Ah.
Now, the second lie, and this had to do with homeopathic proving, okay? So the volunteers were observed for months at a time and made to keep extensive journals, right? I said they were freely encouraged to do whatever they wanted as long as they recorded specifically how and when they did it.
The exercise being all or nothing principle.
They were encouraged to consume coffee, tea, spices, wine, etc., and prohibited from exercising moderation. It was all the opposite. They were forbidden from drinking coffee, tea, spices, wine. They had to exercise in moderation. They also, and this I found on the Wikipedia, they weren't allowed to play chess. He considered it too exciting.
Now, when you were making these lies, how many tabs did you have open?
That one. You might look at my computer and see a million tabs open, but I can tell you most of those have nothing to do with it.
At least 6 of the 20 on there are just explicitly rough pornography.
And
we already established that incognito mode doesn't count towards your tab count.
Did he just...
Incognito? That's my favorite X-Men villain of all, by the way. Incognito.
We are breaking Michael systematically.
I will also say, for those who enjoy Adventures in Babysitting, I spiked your tab with Drano. So.
Well, then I'll get all my pipes will be clean now.
Indeed.
Because
yes.
you diluted it, right?
I
get all the good effects from it, but none of the negative.
At least 300 cc's.
Yeah.
Well,
lactated ringers
I want to
running.
say that I learned something, but I don't think that I learned something.
You should take that knowledge and pour
dilute it?
water. Yeah. And then it'll be really strong. It'll be very powerful with none of the brain-hurting thing that comes from learning.
John, Gaia.com would tell you your intuition is right. There is something you're not experiencing in your current paradigm. So
I will
feeling
show
lost, incomplete.
I will show you this website after because I looked it up before you showed up, and it is great.
It's marvelous.
My favorite, because it had a bunch of like a slideshow. My favorite one showed like the picture of a governmental building and it had an eye behind it.
Oh, the Gaia? Is that what you're talking
Yeah.
about? Oh,
Yes.
It's not Gaia Online. It's not that from.
It's not Gaia on
you
Gaia?
90s kids will remember that. Gaia Online. I wonder if that's still. No, it's not. Wait. I think it might have been bought by Bad Dragon. Never mind. We'll talk about that later.
John put a spoon in his mouth before he
Yes.
swallows his tongue.
Okay, yeah, but that's essentially it. I do want to do one thing, talking about the proving again. This is more conjecture on my part.
It sounds like a Hunger Games thing. Every time you said the proving,
yes.
It sounds like
the ritual.
The courtyard. Yeah, like where they're about to like draw names.
The ones that die or the ones that didn't die felt better. Right?
Go figure.
But
I'd hope.
one of the reasons why a lot of people believed at the time, at least in my personal opinion, believed why homeopathy worked was the way that he proved these substances worked for people that were sick was that he put them on a strict regimen where they weren't allowed to exercise a lot. They had to exercise in moderation. They had to keep away from smoking, from coffee, from a lot of these other things.
General welfare increasing, yeah.
Yes, and he also, if I recall correctly, had clinics that he would have, like, that you would get better at, which would be further away from the city, out in the countryside, where air is cleaner, and so they did, like, a causation does not equal correlation.
Okay.
Yeah, I said that right.
Correlation
Which does not equal causation.
Yes.
That's what I meant. Causation does not equal correlation. I guess no.
Posse.
Yes, posse. But yeah, so that's one of. I like to try and figure out why people believe that weird shit. Because if you look at it from any sort of like eye in today's society, like water doesn't remember shit. You don't drink a thing. You don't drink a bottle of water and be like, man, this tastes like some grade A dinosaur shit. And some sewage that, like, poured off of California.
I mean, it does taste like cinnamon, though, when I get the horchata.
Well, that's because it's not diluted.
It's more like a recycle.
Well, I mean, depends on the Mexican
more like when
restaurant
it's upcycled from my showers. It remembers every time that I cry in the shower.
Well, your tears do taste fantastic.
Man, if the water remembers, it should have been pregnant like 20 times by me at this point.
Leave it to 20th Century Fox. They're out of ideas right now. There will be a Water Remembers movie coming out probably in the next 2 years. They have one about a crocodile right now. or is an alligator. Do you guys see the trailers for that movie?
Oh,
I think it already came out.
Remember.
Crawl Space, I think is what it's called.
Oh.
And it's about
like
it's about like flooding in like one of the southern states, and there's a big gigantic
croc that moves into
croc
a basement
that's
and
also fucking with them while the flooding's happening.
What a crock.
hilarity ensues. It's a sitcom.
Won't they?
That's a great like horror film. The water.
Oh,
Water remembers.
July 20th.
I can imagine
the
the
water
pitch
will
too,
remember.
because it's like they're in the board meeting, like trying to like come up with ideas. They're like, "What's something that most everybody except Flint has access to?"
Here's the thing. We'll set the opening scene. Girl in a steamy bathtub, relaxing. All of a sudden, hands come out of the water, envelop her, and pull her into the water.
Kind of like the Mummy.
Yes, and just drown her. And then as she's struggling and finally, comes to rest.
It's just a movie about people drowning. There's no dialogue from water at all. It's like, but like the whoever writes it's actually maybe a little bit intelligent. It's just like, they all just didn't know how to swim.
But it falls like in The Happening.
Oh,
the
yeah.
M. Night Shyamalan, where it's like their horror shots are wind blowing through grass.
Run! We have to run
and it's
away!
like, this is what's gonna scare me is just, establishing shots. Grass, trees moving. Oh my god, the natural elements are gonna kill us all. The water remembers. 2020.
I just remember Mark Wahlberg when they were in... I actually did see this movie.
What?
Yeah,
No.
I know.
So you saw one
What?
of the movies that I
No.
hate more than anything on this planet.
I
It is
am
my
a-
least favorite movie of all time.
I am a slut for terrible movies.
You could have just left it at.
Nope.
It's his dark journey
It's my...
to the dark temptation.
Damn
Yeah.
it.
Well,
I think we've fucked this dog for long enough. We're just
It's
gonna
not
move
yipping
this.
anymore. So,
Yeah, I
it's
fucked it
probably
for a
done.
while. You hold its head. Well, I want to take a moment to thank Gaia.com for staying the hell away from us and giving us no sponsorship whatsoever. And if you guys want to have a chuckle, I'm waiting for the liability lawsuit to happen. But in any event, we thank you all for joining us, and we hope that you all had a little fun with us today and you were able to learn something about dilution. Because that's what we all want. And ultimately, if you survive the proving, you too can assert that the water remembers. If you're looking forward to catching up with us, if you enjoyed the episode, go ahead and give us a like and a follow at iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Podcast Addict, Spotify, etc. And if you want to find us on the social networks, you can do so on Instagram at Disinformed Podcast. You can find us at Facebook.com/Disinformed Podcast. And if you're on the Twitters, if you're tweeting, if you're doing the tweets, it's at Disinformed Pod. But that's going to do it for this special edition of the Disinformed Podcast. I have been Shane.
I tried to be John.
I failed to be Michael.
Thanks for coming, folks. Don't worry. We'll clean it up with water.
Dun, dun, dun.
It remembered.
Remember,
Water will remember.
water never forgets.
That'll be the sequel.
In water, no one